The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, Jesus went down to Capernaum, a city of Galilee, and he was teaching them on the Sabbath. And they were astonished at his teaching, for his word was with authority. And in the synagogue there was a man who had the spirit of an unclean demon. And he cried out with a loud voice, "Ah, what have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." But Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Be silent, and come out of him." And when the demon had thrown him down in their midst, he came out of him, having done him no harm. And they were all amazed and said to one another, "What is this word? For with authority and power he commands the unclean spirits, and they come out." And reports of him went out into every place in the surrounding region. The Gospel of the Lord. Welcome to this very first day of September, and particularly the first month of the Ember months. As we move towards the close of the year, it is appropriate that we share something about human identity. When we fall short of the Spirit, we actually fall short of who we are. When we are de-spirited, we are dehumanized. When we live our lives not being conscious of our spirit and that we are spirit beings, we become like inanimate objects that can be moved here and there without it having a say of its own. It is not our bodies that give us life. It is our spirit that gives life to the body. The body is active because our spirits are still inside. So when you look at the generality of human beings that are acting as if there's no spirituality, it is only a denial of what they truly are. So it is important that we note some of the advantages of recognizing who we are. If I recognize who I am, there is no way I cannot recognize who you are. And there is no way I cannot recognize who God is. When I say sometimes human beings cannot hide from me, people think I'm a soothsayer, but it is not true. Because I am very much conscious of my spirit, the little leg that anyone brings out, the one word that anyone says, leads me straight to the spirit behind that little leg or that word. At that level, you cannot be deceived. When we are conscious of our spirits, truth will not hide from us. Falsehood will not hide from us. We will see things very clearly. People who are found to be involved in meditation are not easily given away to gossips or to side talks or to backbiting or to being deceived or being cheated. You'd wonder why they listen to you with calm and probably do not make any utterance. Because in the midst of meditation, one had been able to optimize the spirit. And so when the spirit confronts reality, the spirit is calm and is able to filter what is true from what is false. Many people have had this complaint about some people. And the first person to go and meet him to judge is the person that wins the case. But that has not always been the case. Because there are some people who you are going to meet to judge first, and from your judgment, you will be the first person they will accuse. Why? Because their spirits are condensed. They see beyond the words. Every one of us have this capacity, but we may not have made it a gift because of the distractions of our lives, because of the selfishness of our purposes, because of the blindfold that we line our eyes with as a result of ignorance and foolishness. And so many of us sometimes could just be like objects that are waved, that are manipulated. Sometimes we will not even have a foot of our own. It is what somebody, probably if we have someone we admire so much or someone we are serving, what the person says is true. In other words, I no longer have the standard for truth. I am dead if I live that kind of life. If I'm not having my two legs on the ground, if I'm not able to tell my superior, or tell the person I admire, or tell the so-called star that I'm a fan of the truth, I am dead. But what right have I to destroy myself and to affirm the life of someone I admire, when I have been called to represent God? Why should I become a pawn? Why shouldn't I have a foot of my own? When we optimize our spirits, we become conscious of truth. The gospel passage gives us a vignal to this understanding. You know, we say that Peter was given the opportunity to proclaim Jesus Christ, you are the Son of God. Demons have done that before. You see a demon saying, what have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? That is what everybody knows him for, isn't it? Jesus of Nazareth. On the plain. Have you come to destroy us? And then people are thinking, this is Jesus of Nazareth, Jesus that came from Nazareth. Has he a capacity to destroy? We have not seen him even kill fowl. He doesn't look like someone who can even kill a lizard. Can he destroy? What is speaking? I know who you are. What other information about this man does he claims to know? And then he breaks it. You are the Holy One of God. How is that different from Peter's confession? You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. You see, whether this is a demonic spirit or not, spirits are spirits, and every spirit knows something pure the way they are. So it is important we know this. This kind of life of carelessness we are living, we just live in accordance with the flesh, in accordance with pleasure, in accordance with what is sweet our ears, and so on and so forth. You know, we just open ourselves like winds that can be blown by any force to any direction. No. It is important at the beginning of this month that we start accessing our spiritual identity. Because if we hold on to it, demons will recognize the authority and the honor placed on you. The angels and saints will recognize the honor and the authority placed on you. Guess what? If these two classes honor you, the human beings around will honor you. There are some people that they used to play around. I mean, you can ignore them when they call. There are some people who score, you see. This person can call me and you have to pick quickly. and all that. It's not the body that is causing it. There are some very poor men, I'm sorry to use that language, financially, they are only financially poor, but they are not poor in any way. When they stand up to speak, all those with money, all those with wealth, all those with influence will be silent momentarily. You see, the spirit is the measure of life, not the body, not material things. And the first reading says, the unspiritual man does not receive the gifts of the Holy Spirit of God. But the spiritual man judges all things. He said the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. If you are spirited, you will understand God so much. Look, when I said some people have made declarations, accident will never kill me. We're not speaking from flesh. Flesh does not have that competence. You see what programs do for people. The reason why I advise people to go for programs is during the prayers, you happen to experience firsthand the abandonment of the flesh, or at most, the flesh helps you with the activity of the flesh in praise, in singing, in worship, squeezing and crushing your knee on the ground in prayers and the vocals. You gradually start releasing your spirit. You start feeling it. And at that point, you could burst into another realm that could open your eyes to see who you really are. You come out from that experience. It is supposed to have effect in your physical life. If it doesn't have effect in one's physical life, it means that the terms of prayer in itself, or the program in itself, the very foundation of the program itself, detracts from what God has sanctioned. A spiritual man can comprehend God's thoughts. No one can do that unless you are in the Spirit of God. So you will not be found taking things unusual, that is usually. When we are talking about worship, it's not going to be usually. You become unusual in your relationship with these common things that you think are common. They are not common. The mass is not common. And we are gathered here is not common. If only our eyes are open to see the number of angels that are worshiping with us. Because the moment my worship is true and sincere from the depth of my spirit, the angels are happy, because that's the work they do always there in His presence. They join us. They say we shouldn't go by the spirit of the world, because we have received the Spirit from God. No spirit was created by any other spirit. We are all created by God. That we might be able to understand the gifts bestowed on us by God. It has been clearly said that He made us little less than gods. He gave us glory and honor. Put all things under us and says, take custody over all I have created. It is this spirit that inspires human wisdom, that helps interpret spiritual truths, and even to those who seem to be ignorant. When I say the unspiritual man cannot comprehend anything. He is not able to understand spiritual things, nor can he discern physical things. We should place ourselves on the table of spiritual authority. There are good number of Christians that leave this physical platform to go and settle the discussions that are being discussed behind veils, behind physical veils, on spiritual platform. That is what our prayers do. You go to the spiritual world to go and orchestrate what you want to happen, because everything that happens on this physical plane are decided in the spiritual plane. So anyone who thinks that things that happen here are accidental, the truth is, a puppet is controlled by a string. What you see remains the movement of the puppet, but you don't see the puppeteer, the person that is controlling the string. But does that mean that the fact that the puppet is moving by itself? Since physics can calculate the movement of the puppet, and then chemistry can access the content of the puppet, and then we can use physical properties of nature to say, okay, the puppet has stability and so on and so forth, so it can do this and do that. You see, as long as we ourselves are spirit beings, we are the puppets moving our bodies. So every single physical thing is engineered from the spiritual. And if you want a physical alignment to your will, you must be able to always recline to the spiritual platform. Every program we see, for instance, I type A and it's not C that appears, is because the programmer had so willed it that way. We see the effect of programming. But the language of programming is never seen by those who eventually munch on the consequences of a program. When I open an application or open a software, I don't see the programming language. And yet, every single appearance, every single manifestation, we are coded by things that don't resemble what is manifesting. So it is reductionist for us to feel that all that happens on the physical platform can be explained only by means of physical properties and understanding. If we want to be alive and take dominion over this life, we must go back to the spirit world and take dominion over that plane. May God bless and protect us as we begin these ember months and give us that spiritual opportunity to access the values and the destinies of our lives and to work for its manifestation and success through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.